Yo, what's up, baby? This is Bert Watson, and you're listening to Radio MMA, because this is what they do and why they do it, baby, all night long, because they rolling hard, fast, and on the money.
Okay, guys, welcome back to Radio MMA. Let's welcome in Tony Sims. How's it going?
It's going great, guys. How are you doing?
We're doing good. So you're coming off that KO win over Steve Montgomery. Just talk about that fight for the fans that missed it.
Well, I got, they're trying to get the call into the UFC, stay ready for a long time now, and they called with, on a week's notice to fight a weight class up versus Steve Montgomery, and just went in there and didn't have a game plan, just kind of knew if I landed a couple of strikes, I could finish the fight, and that's what happened.
Very impressive performance. So up next, just talk about your fight. You're taking a short notice fight here, right?
Yeah. I told Joe Silva that I'll be ready after that fight. I'd be ready pretty quick. So luckily we got one in. I'm fighting Olivier. I think it's Olivier Aubin-Mercier. I don't know how to say it in French-Canadian with a French-Canadian accent.
Sure.
He's a pretty well-rounded guy, and he comes from TriStar, so I know he's probably a pretty smart fighter. I expect it to be all phases of the fight. There's going to be some groundwork, some cage work, some striking work, and I'm going to be my normal explosive striker, and I'm going to control the fight with takedown.
Okay, man, you said against Steve you really didn't have a game plan going into this thing. Do you have a game plan for this one?
No, specifically I don't. It's hard to have a game plan. I think in a fight there's so many things that can happen.
Sure.
But my goal is always kind of the same. Avoid the strengths of my opponent and try to exploit my own strength, which besides striking, my strength's wrestling and controlling the game on top from jiu-jitsu. So that's my goal, is if it goes to the ground, I want to be on top. And if this guy's going to shoot on me, I have to make him really work hard to get any kind of positions on me. Yeah, that's my game plan is I want to keep it standing. I finished every fight that I fought except for one. And in that fight, I had 3 knockdowns in the first round, and I broke my hand. So, wow. I know that I'm a threat. I know that I'm a threat at any time in the fight, and I can finish. So my goal is no. I don't want a decision. And I want to hit this guy hard as I can, and make him force a bad position.
Okay, man, just talk about making the trip here to Canada. It's going to be a first ever card in Saskatchewan, and your opponent's Canadian, so you'll be the villain coming into this one.
I have a lot of Canadian friends who will be rooting for me, so that's not hard. I fought for a long time in boxing, wrestling. I've had a lot of experience in other guys' hometowns, so that's easy to phase out, And I think those fans up there are easy to warm up to a guy who comes in and puts the effort in to fight really hard. So I think those guys I'll get some fans out there pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's not like you're going into Brazil or something like that, right?
Yeah. I think ultimately the MMA fans, for the most part, they just want to see exciting fights, and I think the Canadian fans are pretty well rounded in what they know about the game, so they're able to kind of see the intricate things that are going on in conditions and stuff like that. So I think it'll be. I'm pretty excited to fight out of the country.
Talk about the importance of making a statement and going for one of those big bonus checks.
Well, that's the difference between fighting in UFC and fighting on a local show. There's always the incentive to go out and get a knockout or have a great performance. But those things, you can't force those things, or you'll end up trying too hard to get it. So I have the ability, no matter what, to end the fight with, a single strike or to dominate positions. And for me, it's just about staying in the moment and not forcing any of these things. They're going to come.
What drove you to a career in combat sports?
A lot of people who know me know I started boxing when I was 7 years old. My older brother, he was 9 at the time. We grew up together boxing in the gym every day. We traveled all over the U.S. competing. I had over 100 fights growing up. And as I got older, I focused on wrestling, and my brother wanted me to continue a career in combat sports when I went to college. And my brother passed away when he was 21. I was 19. And he was in the military, and he asked me to do a tournament, a boxing tournament, and keep going with what we had kind of started when we were kids. And to honor him after it passed, I got back into it, and I fell in love with MMA. I realized it's something that, for me to be the best version of myself, I needed to continue to do it. So I fought. I made a goal to be in the UFC to honor my brother, and the fight with Steve Montgomery was that goal came true, and now I get to start this career for myself and to continue to honor my brother.
Wow, man, that's pretty awesome.
The fight with Montgomery was emotional for me. Obviously, I think it couldn't have ended any better, but there's a lot that went into it. That I'm a private person, and I was able to let a little bit of my story out. But yeah, MMA for me is very personal, very emotional for me.
Before we let you go here, let's talk about this fight that's going to be going down in a few months here. We got Robbie Lawler versus Carlos Condit. How do you think this fight will break down?
I think, so number one, I'm from Davenport, Iowa, and Robbie Lawler is also trained in Bedworth, Iowa when I was a kid growing up boxing.
Sure.
That's when Militech Gym was the best in the world.
Right.
And if you heard, Matt Pena was Robbie Lawler's coach, and he just retired. And Matt Pena was also my boxing coach growing up. So I have a lot of I know Robbie not too well, but I'll root for Robbie because he's my hometown guy. But I think what's going to happen is Condit's going to probably win a round or two, and I think just Lawler's too powerful, too explosive, and I think Robbie's going to finish the fight.
What did you think of the Lawler versus his last fight there with Rory? Rory, what did you think of that fight? That was crazy, eh?
I honestly, that whole fight card was outrageous. I couldn't believe the amount of finishes and damage that everybody took. So that was an exciting card to watch. I know the fans probably loved it. I try to hit people and not get hit. So for me, I don't ever want to be on the Rory McDonald side of things. But it was a great night of fights, man. That's certainly a feather in the cap for both those guys' careers. That was a great night of fights.
Give me a prediction on your fight. How will it finish?
I'll finish it. I'll finish it on feet. I'll knock him out.
Would you like to thank anyone or throw out your social media?
Oh yeah, follow me on Twitter at 20cents MMA, Instagram at 20cents MMA, and I want to thank my team, Elevation Fight Team. I think that we've got a lot of guys that are gonna make a name for themselves, and my coaches, Lisa Bowling, Elliot Marshall, Christian Allen, and Dwayne Ludwig as well.
Thanks very much for the time, man, and best of luck on your fight.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.